Maya Bennett stood on the cracked sidewalk outside Reynolds Auto and Service, gripping her phone like a lifeline. The air smelled faintly of oil and warm asphalt, the afternoon heat rising in shimmering waves from the street. She told herself this was ridiculous, a terrible plan born of panic, but desperation has a way of silencing good sense. At 27, Maya thought she'd already learned how to handle embarrassment, but there was no playbook for this. Her family reunion was tomorrow, the one she'd been dodging for half a year, ever since her cousin Heather had announced her engagement to a corporate lawyer and made sure the entire family knew. Heather had a talent for subtle cruelty. Every conversation was a performance, every smile edged like glass. And when Maya, who managed a small flower shop downtown, had tired of being pitied for her transitional career and her single status, she'd blurted out a lie. A stupid, impulsive, small-town family holiday kind of lie. She'd told them she was seeing someone. Someone wonderful, kind, ambitious, too busy to meet them just yet. For 3 months, the lie had bloomed, growing roots in every phone call, every text from her mother asking about that nice young man. And now the reunion was tomorrow. Her imaginary boyfriend needed to become real for one afternoon. She inhaled, then pushed open the glass door. The sound of a pneumatic tool echoed somewhere in the back. Inside, the air was cool, filled with the scent of motor oil, steel, and a faint trace of coffee. The garage was cluttered but precise. Every wrench, every socket, every part arranged in a rhythm only the owner would understand. A tall man stepped out from beneath the hood of a black sedan, wiping his hands on a rag. He wasn't what she expected, not the grizzled, grease-stained stereotype she'd pictured. He was maybe early 30s, dark hair falling loosely across his forehead, an easy posture that carried quiet strength. His t-shirt was gray, worn soft from use, sleeves dusted with engine soot. His eyes were the kind that could look both sharp and kind at once. Clear, attentive, unexpectedly calm. "Can I help you?" he asked, his voice even and unhurried. Maya opened her mouth, closed it again. This was insane. She should leave. She should go home, text her mother, and confess everything. Instead, she said softly, "I hope so." He smiled, half amused. "Car trouble?" "Not exactly." He raised an eyebrow, waiting. "This is going to sound completely insane. I've heard just about everything in this job," he said, leaning lightly against the workbench. "Try me." Maya took a breath. "I need someone to pretend to be my boyfriend. Just for one day." The words fell into the still air like dropped tools. The man's brows lifted, but his expression didn't shift into mockery, only surprise, followed by something almost like curiosity. "That's new," he said after a beat. "Usually people come in asking for brake pads." Maya exhaled, flustered. I know it sounds crazy. I wouldn't even ask if I wasn't desperate. It's for a family event, a reunion. I made a mistake. I lied about having a boyfriend, and now they all expect to meet him. Can't face them and explain it was made up." He tilted his head, studying her. "You could just tell the truth." "I could," she said, her voice catching. "But my grandmother's going to be there. She's 86 and keeps saying she just wants to see me happy before—" Maya trailed off. "And my mom's already told everyone how proud she is of me for finally finding someone. I can't be the reason that smile fades." The man leaned back on the counter, folding his arms, and strong, sure, but relaxed. "What's your name?" "Maya Bennett. I'm Ethan Reynolds," he said, "owner of this fine establishment." His tone carried a trace of humor, but his eyes didn't waver. "So Maya Bennett, what exactly are you asking me to do?" "Just show up with me tomorrow afternoon. Smile, be polite, answer a few questions. Pretend we've been together for a few months. I'll pay you. I know it's ridiculous, but I can scrape together a few hundred." Ethan shook his head before she could finish. "I don't want your money," she blinked. "Then you're saying no?" He smiled faintly. "No, I'm saying I'll do it. Just on one condition." "What's that?" "You bring flowers, nice ones, for your grandmother. And you stop apologizing for being human. We've all made a mess trying to protect the people we love. No shame in that." Something in his tone, quiet, grounded, without pity, made her eyes sting. "Why would you help me?" Ethan shrugged. glancing toward the window where sunlight caught floating dust in golden streaks. Maybe I know what it feels like to not measure up to what people expect. Maybe I think everyone deserves a good day once in a while. The next morning, Maya stood before her closet as if it were a test. Her instinct was to grab something neutral, a beige blouse, navy slacks, something that whispered stability. But she remembered Ethan's words. Wear something that makes you feel like yourself. So she chose a soft blue dress she'd bought months ago and never worn. It was bright, a little too playful, but it felt like her. At exactly 1:30, the doorbell rang. When she opened the door, she froze. Ethan looked different. Not transformed exactly, but refined, dark jeans, a clean white button-down, a watch with a worn leather strap. His hair was brushed back, though still a little unruly. He held a bouquet, pale pink tulips wrapped in brown paper. "For your grandmother," he said simply. Maya smiled despite herself. "You really didn't have to." "I did," he said, and there was something in his voice that made her believe him. In the car, as they drove toward her aunt's sprawling suburban house, Ethan asked questions. Not the superficial kind, not what color her cousin's hair was or how to fake their first date, but real ones. What makes you laugh? What's your go-to comfort meal? What's your worst habit? They built their story together as the city slipped by, the little lies blending with real fragments of who they were. By the time they pulled up in front of the house, it didn't feel like acting. It felt like two people who already understood each other in quiet, simple ways. Maya's stomach twisted as they walked up the driveway. "They're going to ask a million questions," she murmured. Ethan reached for her hand, steady, firm, real. "We've got this. Just be you." The backyard was buzzing with conversation, the scent of grilled food and sunscreen floating on the breeze. Her mother spotted her first. "Maya!" she exclaimed, her face lighting up, then freezing for just a moment as her gaze shifted to Ethan. Her smile returned, warmer. "So this is him." Ethan extended his hand with a natural ease. "Hi, Mrs. Bennett, it's good to finally meet you." "I've heard wonderful things." Her mother melted instantly. "Oh, call me Elaine. And you are even more handsome than she said." Maya wanted the ground to open up. Within minutes, Ethan was surrounded. Uncles, cousins, curious siblings. He handled it all with effortless charm, asking questions about their jobs, remembering names, listening like every person mattered. Her grandmother appeared soon after, leaning on her cane but smiling wide. "And who is this tall young man?" "Grandma, this is Ethan," Maya said softly. Ethan knelt slightly, holding out the tulips. "These are for you." Maya said they're your favorite. Her grandmother's eyes glistened. "Tulips were my wedding flowers," Ethan smiled. "Then I chose right." Her grandmother touched his cheek with wrinkled fingers. "You did. And you," she turned to Maya, "you finally found one who looks at you like you're the only person in the room." Maya felt her throat tighten. Of course, not everyone was charmed. Heather arrived late, her diamond ring catching the sunlight, her fiancé trailing behind in his designer sunglasses. "So," Heather said sweetly, "this is the mysterious boyfriend we've all been dying to meet." "This is Ethan," Maya said evenly. "Ethan, my cousin Heather." Heather smiled, too perfect. "And what do you do, Ethan?" "I own a small business," he said easily. "Auto repair and restoration." "Mostly classics," Heather's smile flickered. "Oh, a mechanic." Before Maya could respond, Ethan said, "It's honest work. And restoring something old, something everyone else gave up on, has its rewards." Her grandmother's voice chimed in from behind them. "You can tell a lot about a man by how he fixes what's broken." Heather's fiancé, who'd been checking his phone, muttered something about golf and wandered off. Ethan only smiled, unconcerned. Hours passed. Laughter, stories, food, music. Maya found herself watching him, the way he bent to help her uncle adjust the grill flame, how easily he chatted with her younger cousins, how natural it all seemed. Her mother pulled her aside near the end. "He's wonderful," she whispered. "I don't care what he does for a living. I haven't seen you this happy in years." Maya's heart twisted with guilt. As the sun began to set, golden light spilling through the maple trees, Maya found Ethan near the garden. The party noise had softened to a hum. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for all of it." You didn't just save me, you were kind. To my grandmother, to everyone. He smiled, but his gaze was serious. There's something I didn't tell you. Maya frowned. What do you mean? He hesitated, then exhaled. I do own Reynolds Auto, but it's not just one shop. It's 22 across 3 states. We specialize in sustainable restoration, electric conversions for vintage cars, renewable manufacturing. I run the company, she blinked. You're the CEO, Ethan nodded. My grandfather started the first garage in 1965. My dad expanded it. I took over 8 years ago and tried to modernize it. But I still work in this one, the original. It reminds me why we started. Why didn't you say that earlier? Because when you walked into my shop, you didn't see a CEO. You saw a person. And that's rare. I didn't want to change that. Not with titles, Maya's voice dropped. You could have corrected Heather. Let her know, he shook his head. People like that, they see what they want to see. I'd rather be measured by what I do, not what I own. She looked at him, something in her chest unfolding. A quiet respect that ran deeper than surprise. So why did you help me, really? He smiled faintly. Because a woman walked into my garage with fear in her eyes and courage in her voice. Because she reminded me that honesty doesn't always mean perfection. Sometimes it just means showing up, even when you're scared. And maybe, he paused, because I liked the idea of getting to know her. This day was supposed to be fake, she said softly. I know, he murmured. But it didn't feel that way to me. For a moment, neither spoke. The sun slipped lower, painting everything gold. Finally, Maya smiled. What happens now? Ethan grinned. We could try this again. Only next time, no pretending. 6 months later, Maya was arranging sunflowers in the front window of Wild Petal Floral when Ethan walked in, holding coffee and a shy smile. They'd taken it slow, real slow. Dinner dates between his travel schedule, late-night calls, quiet mornings fixing up her delivery van together. Her grandmother adored him. Heather had eventually stopped trying to compete, and Maya had stopped apologizing for her life. When they finally told her family the truth, that it had started as a favor, a lie turned miracle. Her grandmother laughed until she cried. Sometimes, she said, you have to pretend to be in love to realize you already are. A year later, Ethan proposed in the flower shop, between hanging vines and the hum of coolers filled with roses. She said yes. Not because he was successful, but because he'd seen her, truly seen her, when she felt invisible. And because sometimes the best stories begin with the smallest, strangest acts of courage. If this story reminded you that kindness and honesty can bloom in the most unexpected places, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe for more true-to-life stories from Kindness and Consequences.